I feel like we all had a very, very similar experience with racing games. I mean, if you owned a PlayStation 2, there is no way that you didn't at least own Need for Speed Underground 2 or Need for Speed Most Wanted. Those games were like cornerstones to anyone's PlayStation 2 library. So today we're going to talk about not those games, but arguably one of my favorite racing games of all time and by far the most influential on my young life.
Monster Truck Madness was released in 1996, developed by Terminal Reality and published by Microsoft, allowing the player to drive 12 different monster trucks over a variety of different racetracks and race types.
Now, if I look tired, it is because I am. I am exhausted. I'm filming this after not having slept for 2 whole nights. The house flooded yesterday. So needless to say, I'm not in the best mood. But this game completely changed that around. Replaying this game reminded me just how much fun racing games can actually be. This was the very first racing game me and my brother ever played back in our old, incredibly old Windows 95 computer. And it shaped my entire passion for not just racing games, but monster trucks in general. I mean, to this day, I love monster trucks. If you want to check out one of my monster truck videos, you can click on the link in the description or the button that just appeared above. But ultimately, I love monster trucks. And this game is what got me invested in Bigfoot, Power Wheels, Gravedigger. This was also the very first computer game I ever played where you got to customize the camera view. And playing from the cockpit was one of the most immersive experiences of my young life. And I'm pretty sure that's what got me not just into racing in first-person mode, but even playing first-person shooter games rather than playing third-person shooters.
This game is not what I remember. Much like Toy Story 2, I remember how nostalgia plays a massive role in how we remember the look and feel of our favorite childhood games. But with that being said, Monster Truck Madness has a ton to offer fans, both new and old. Good graphics just isn't one of those things. And the draw distance. Definitely something that you actively have to try and ignore, as it does become rather frustrating.
Now, I remember once at school, this was probably grade 6 or 7, there's a trial version of Monster Truck Madness. If I'm not mistaken, it's this program called Shareware. Now, Shareware is long before my time, and hopefully some people in the comments can basically break down Shareware better than I ever can. But my understanding of it is that it's like a demo version or a trial version, and a bunch of different games were available via Shareware. If I'm not mistaken, I even got Jazz Jack Rabbit via Shareware, but that was like early days, so I can't remember correctly. But I remember just hearing the soundtrack for the game, turning around during computer class, and someone had installed the trial version for Monster Truck Madness, and my entire class was enthralled by it. And I just remember getting so excited, and then the first thing everyone did was say, "But these graphics suck." And I got so personally touched by that. But I do have to say, these graphics, they're not what I remember.
But the full game has so much to offer. Immersive tracks, customizable vehicles, and the same soundtrack on repeat. But flip, this one individual soundtrack. Anyone who has ever played this game will instantly get shivers down their spine remembering those chords. Da, 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 da. Okay, I'm sorry, that was terrible. Of course, I can't play the real soundtrack because, of course, we all know how YouTube works. But this soundtrack is so incredibly catchy, and it was composed beautifully. It perfectly captures the feeling and puts you in the mood to drive a 4.5-ton truck, smashing through walls and driving over cars. In this video, I want to break down a few of my favorite tracks, the gameplay, and ultimately how the entire experience feels to play so many years later. By far the most recognizable track to any player is, of course, Crazy 8. This track is available in both the trial and full versions of the game and is at the top of the list for circuit races. Now, circuit races are one of the race types in Monster Truck Madness. In total, you get circuit, drag, rally, and tournament. Circuits are your traditional tracks with multiple laps. Drags are your short, quick, straight line races, similar to the traditional races that we see in today's Monster Jam. Rallies kind of act as a sort of cross-country course which takes a player on long road trips, and tournaments act as traditional cup tournaments. Rallies were always my favorites, with their long tracks that seem endless and cover a wide variety of different terrains and landscapes. But back to Crazy 8. This is a great introductory track, which is simple enough for any new or experienced player to enjoy, but offers enough in regards to challenges and secrets that experienced players can always pull something out of their sleeves. It's here that I need to bring up the checkpoint system. This game has no barriers, which is great. It allows for tons of free roaming and just having fun exploring the environment. But that does also open up the possibility of cheesing the game, or rather just breaking it. So to avoid that, the game simply has checkpoints scattered across the track that the player has to drive through, and they can get to that point any way they want. On the track, off the track, etc. As long as they hit the different checkpoints in the correct order. Crazy 8 doesn't truly offer too much in the realm of crazy map innovations, but there is a moment that offers up a significant amount of excitement in the form of a bridge under construction. Players can choose to ramp over the bridge to create a shortcut, or rather travel the longer route over some gravel. While this might sound like an easy choice, depending on how you customize your truck in the garage, it is very possible that you won't make the jump at all. While there isn't too much more in regards to the actual map, there are a few fun moments that one can come across while driving off-road, such as this giant dinosaur monster destroying a car. And these little attractions are scattered across various locations around the maps of the game. Mud Pies is the next track and final circuit track that I want to break down. The map definitely offers much more variety than Crazy 8 and feels like it was definitely leaning into the more crazy potential that a monster truck game may have. Driving through mud, over crushed cars, through a lake, potentially knocking over some helicopters, and there are also a few other obstacles that lean into the crazy fun aspects that this game has to offer. Now Arizona is the next track, which I've always remembered so fondly, and I'm pretty sure I raced that track more than any other track in the game. But even replaying it now, it's just so much fun. Arizona takes the player across a barren desert, through small towns before eventually entering a lush green landscape and even a major city. One of my absolute favorite memories of this game is just exploring this massive map. The old spaghetti western looking towns and the train, even the urban city allowed my little brain to just create imaginative scenarios and situations that I needed to race out of. Jumping from the desert to the Greenlands while simultaneously jumping over a train is enough to give me a nostalgia overload. The track itself also changes with the terrain. In the desert, the turns of the track were easy to manage and the slopes never felt too overwhelming. But in the hills of the Greenlands, that all changes. Ups, downs, and tight turns require focus and attention. The city doesn't let up. While all the slopes and hills are nowhere to be seen, every turn is a 90-degree angle and they can become relentless. Yucatan Adventure is the final track I want to discuss. Traveling along the coast offers a unique view and a variety of track types. The track offers tar roads, sand tracks, a freaking volcano, and the ocean if you get unlucky. Besides Arizona, this was the track I played most as a kid. The beautiful landscape and variety in terrain just offered young Caleb a lot of fun. And knocking around a ton of planes at the airport, come on, that's always fun. So yes, a ton of crazy racetracks, some truly iconic trucks in the likes of Gravedigger and Bigfoot. The game has a ton for any monster truck and racing fan alike to enjoy. If your truck ever gets stuck, don't worry, you can always request that a helicopter comes and saves you. The biggest letdowns of this game are the visuals. The draw distance becomes quite frustrating playing the game again in 2022, where draw distance hasn't really been an issue for well over a decade and a half. The trucks themselves can also feel a bit weightless, which I can understand could be an issue for the developers. These vehicles are supposed to be around 4.5 tons, but when you actually watch them, you can see how crazy light and acrobatic they may seem. In the game, the vehicles just bounce around without any weight, and even the smallest obstacle can cause you to tumble over or bounce off the track. But after playing the game for a little bit, you can easily get used to these, and the issues can be quickly avoided. To close this review, I just have to say that if you've played the game, I think you can agree that this is truly so much fun to play. And if you haven't played it yet, honestly, give it a go. I know the graphical downgrade can be incredibly unwelcoming, but to this day, I can only think of a handful of racing games that I've truly had just as much fun playing. And even then, I can guarantee you that none of them impacted me and my interests as much as Monster Truck Madness.
But yes, guys, that was Monster Truck Madness. If you have played the game, I would love to know your thoughts and feelings about it. If you haven't yet, you honestly have to give it a go. I know the graphics can be a little bit unwelcoming, but you will not be disappointed with this game. But guys, thank you so much for watching this video game review. If you have any video games that you want me to review, comment them down below and I'll make sure to get them. But guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it and do not forget to subscribe to my channel.